Welcome back. This is video 2. We are still in lesson 5.2. You need to set up the back side of your journal to say this. Estimating makes division easier, but be careful with your real divisor. Push pause on the video till yours looks like that. So what we're meaning is when we do actual division with the 2-digit divisor, we need to use estimation. But when we use the estimation, we need to make sure that we're not using it as the multiplication number, but just as my guessing number. Okay, so let's try another problem where we look at a multiplication problem, and instead of doing it in place value sections, let's just do it in long division. So let's begin with this problem. 4,968 divided by 72. Remember that we need long, skinny space for this. And what we need to do underneath that is decide what number we're rounding 72 to. And what number does 72 round to that ends in 0? 70. Okay, we do just the same thing. We're just going to go one digit at a time. Does 70 go into 4? The answer is no. So you put an X there. Does 70 go into 49? No. Does 70 go into 496? Yes, it does. So we would have X is above the 4 and the 9. And this 6 is where we're going to stop. So, and now that I know that I'm dealing with 70, I look at the first two numbers and I think 7 times what gives me close to 49? 7 times 7 is 49. So 70 times 7 would be 490. So I think that's going to be pretty close. I'm going to guess 7. Remember when I say guess, it's a light bulb. Will you please draw a light bulb? And this time write a 7 in it. I'm going to guess 7. So I go back to my original real divisor. That's what I mean when I put this in the title, your real divisor. So I go to 72 and I'm going to try 7. And we're going to make sure that when I do 7, it is not more than 496. If it is more, then we estimated too high and we'll have to change this and times it by something else. Multiply it. Uh-oh, it's more. You can't get 72 into 496 7 times because that's 504. So let's go ahead and put a red X or an orange X through that. And we're going to write too high. Why was our estimate too high that time? I want you to take a good look at it for a minute. Because 70 times 7 would be 490, but 72 times 7 is going to be more. In fact, it's going to be 2 whole groups more of 7. So it's going to be too much. So let's try the next. So this is what happens when it doesn't work. 7 was too high. So then we try 6. Multiply those together. And that number isn't too high. So the correct answer in the quotient line is 6. I'm going to show in orange that I went for my light bulb and changed to 6, and that's the number that I will use is 6. And it's 432. Remember when I do long division like this, I subtract. We do one digit at a time. 64, so I've subtracted and I need to bring down the 8. And I start all over again. So now I think, okay, 70 into 64. 7 times what gets me close to 64? 7 times 7 would be 49. 7 times 8 would be 56. 7 times 9 would be 63. Should we try 9? Let's light bulb it. Let's light bulb and try 9. I'm going to come over here to the side. I'm going to draw a light bulb. And this time I'm going to try, what was the number? 9. We're going to try 9. Okay, so we will do 72, our original number, times 9. And if this number cannot be bigger than 648. Do you see that? That's exactly 648. So 9 was correct, so write it on your quotient line. And subtract 648 to show that you got 0. So you can see that my answer is 69. And that is my final answer. There was not a remainder. So we had one situation where we guessed a light bulb. We guessed 7 and it was too high, so we dropped it down to 6. Then another one, we guessed 9 and it was just right. So this is what estimation does. I just want to make sure you are making sure that when you go to do the actual multiplication, you are using your real divisor. All right, let's try the next problem. Let's try this one. Let's do a little, actually before we do that, let's draw an orange line underneath all the work we just did so that we can separate it out. It kind of is going to look a little squiggly, like a slope. Okay, the next problem we're going to try, I'm going to write diagonally over here on the right. The next problem we're going to try is 2,520. Let's just go ahead and, well, actually I like to write them diagonally, so let's do that. 2,520 divided by 28. I'll circle it in green. And when I go to write this problem, I'm going to do it in the long division method again. So I will write it like this. No commas. And what do we do now when it's a 2-digit? We put parentheses underneath the divisor so that we know what number we're going to round to. What does 28 round to? What is it closest to? It's either going to be a 20 or a 30. It's closest to 30, so write 30 in those green parentheses and begin the estimation process. 30 will not go into 2, so I place an X there. 30 will not go into 25, so I place an X above the 5. But 30 will go into 252, so that is where my first digit will belong. So now I ask myself, okay, what are my 30s times tables? Well, I don't know my 30s times tables, but I know my 3s, and I'm going to look at the first number, 25. 3 goes into 25 about how many times? 8 times would be 24. 9 times would be 27. I think maybe 4. What do you think about that? 4? Well, let's try it. Let's put a light bulb and try it. Here is the one we're trying. Remember, my light bulbs are just ideas. We're trying a 4. And when we go to try it, remember, we use the original number. So let's use the original number. 28 times 4. It wasn't 4. I should have stopped myself earlier. 3 goes into 25 8 times. The light bulb number was supposed to be 8. So erase. Because 3 goes into 25 8 times. Sorry about that. So we're trying 28 times 8. That feels a little better. I got 224. Did you get 224? So that will work because it is smaller than 252, but I have to ask, could I get another set of 28? Because I want to get as close as possible. Let's see, if I added 20, what would that be? 224, 234, 244. Ooh, what if I add 10 more? What if I add 30? 254 and minus 2, 252. I think it can be 9 times. Do you want to know? Let's go through the process of what will happen if you don't fix it right now. So let's say that I go along with it and I say, okay, it's 8. So go ahead and put an 8 above the 2 in the quotient line. And do 224 and subtract. Did you see that my remainder would be 28? You can't have a remainder right here. I know that I still have to bring down a 0, but remember this leftover amount cannot be more than the divisor, cannot be equal to or more. So it cannot be 8. This was too low. Too low. So it can't be 8. Because I cannot get leftover down here that is equal to the divisor. So erase. And let's try 9. Okay, that one was too low, so we're going to try 9. 28 times 9. Look what it is exactly. So it is 9 because it equals 252. So 9 goes in the answer line. And some people don't know what to do when this happens. When you subtract 252 from 252, you get 0. And you still have to bring down the 0. So you have double zeros there, but you still have a place value up here. It's easy. If there's double zeros down here, and you still have a place value, it's just a 0 in the answer line. Or you can ask yourself, how many times will 28 go into 0? 0 times, right? And 0 minus 0 is going to be 0, so I'm not going to do that. So the answer is 90. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So in one situation, we estimated too high. In another situation, we estimated too low. And I'm purposely walking you through this to let you know that's okay if that happens. You just have to problem solve. You have to work through it. You have to fix things. There is a way for you to spot it ahead of time. So I want those of you who are really understanding this to try to spot it in the next one, whether we're going too high or too low. Okay? So draw another orange line. I'm going to try another one. Let's try writing it over here to the side. Okay? The problem is going to be 1,287 divided by 33. Go ahead and set that up in the long division method. I'm going to do that right here. Go ahead and change the 33 to be a number that is a benchmark number with parentheses. I'm going to drop it to 30. You should too. So think about it. I just lowered the actual number. Okay, so I'm going to get to go a little more than what I estimate because I've lowered the actual number. Interesting to think about that. Okay, does 30 go into 1? No, so put an X there. Does 30 go into 12? No, put an X there. Will 30 go into 128? Yes. So first digit will be above the 8. So now you start thinking about this. The number 12, or the first two digits, and the first digit of your estimate. So 3 and 12 is 4, right? That would be 120. 30 times 4 would be 120. But would I be able to, think about this for a minute, if my estimate was lower, then my actual number is going to be higher. So if I did 30 times 4, it would be 120. But I'm going to have to do 33 times 4. So it would be 3 more groups of 4 added to 120. So it would end up being 132. It's going to be too high. So it can't be 4. Okay, I already know it can't be 4, but for those of you who are not following that, let's just try it. Go ahead and draw over here to the side, draw a light bulb, and put 4 in there. Let's try 4. 33 times 4. Do you see that it's too high now? 132 is too high for 128, so it can't be 4. Too high. So let's try the next lower down. Let's try a 3. Go to the original number and write 33 times 3. Some of you can just do this one in your head, but it's 99. Is 99 going to go into 128? Yes, that would work. Remember, 4 was too high. So it's 3. 3 goes in my quotient line above the 8. And this is where I want to know, do you know where to put the 99? It has to line up with the quotient I just put. So you can't put 99 over here. 99 is in the 1s and the 10s place. So look at the number 128 and subtract 99 from it. Lots of borrowing here. You have 29 left over, I think. And bring down the 7 and start over. 297. So I start over again, and I look at the first two digits, 29, underline them in orange, and I think about 30. 3 goes into 29, 8 times would be 24, 9 times would be 27. 27. It's pretty close to 29. You can't have 10 times. It can't be a double digit. It has to be a single digit that fits in this quotient line. So let's try 9. Okay? The goal here is to try 9. Will you draw a light bulb? We're going to try 9. And the number can't be higher than 297. So let's go to the original divisor, 33, and multiply it by 9. Well, look at that. goes on the quotient line. And subtract 297 to prove that it gets to 0. The answer is what, everybody? 39. How are we doing so far? Are you hanging in there okay? I hope so. All right, let's try our last problem. And on this problem, because we don't have a lot of space, so draw the orange line, we're going to do place value boxes, okay? Place value boxes. So now you've learned 2 different ways to do division. Eventually I'm going to show you a 3rd way, and then we'll get into doing harder stuff. But let's go ahead and do our last practice problem. That's right, you heard me. The last one right here in this box, okay? Let's do 1615. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to do this one. I want to do 1596. So 1596 divided by 42. Set it up in place value boxes. Still use parentheses. What is 42 close to for a benchmark number? 40. Go ahead and write it. And start asking the questions. Will 40 go into 1? No. Put an X above it. Will 40 go into 15? No. Put an X above that. Will 40 go into 159? Yes. So now you start thinking, okay, 4 into 15, or technically if I look at that as 159, it's going to be close to 160, right? So 4 into 16 would maybe go 4 times. But 40 times 4 is 160, so it's already more than that. And I have to do 42 times 4. So it can't be 4, it's going to have to be 3. This is part of the mental math process. So I'm going to try 42 times 3. 126. Could you get 40 more from that without going over? 36, 46, 46. Nope. So it is 3. Put 3 in your quotient line above the 9. But remember, in this method, it's not just 3, it's 30. So it's not just 126, it's 1,260. Subtract. Find your leftovers, draw the next box. This time I'm going to separate my box. You can connect your box, whatever you'd like to do. It's still 42, so I'm still dealing with 40s. But now I'm looking at 40 and 33, right? Because 40 won't go into 3. 40 won't go into 33, but it will go into 336. So I look at the first two just so I can use multiplication strategies. That's all. So 4 into 33. 4 times 8 is 32. And 42 would be 8 groups of 2 more. Yeah, I think it could be 8 times. Should we try 8? Draw a light bulb up here. Let's try 8. Go to the original divisor, 42 times 8. Well, look at that. Put an 8 in the quotient line, subtract it and prove that it equals 0. Final answer? If you said 38, you are correct. So, when we divide by two-digit divisors, we follow the 3 steps. We use benchmark numbers to do rounding to make our guessing easier. If we guess too high, that's okay. We just try the next number down. If we guess too low, you're going to try the next number up. You just have to keep thinking and be really looking at your remainders and leftovers. Be very careful with that. The time is now yours. There is no workbook today, so that's awesome. Those of you who need to check Think Central, do that. And go ahead and start your assignment as well. Homework and remembering, 5.2. You do have to complete all on every side. Thanks for doing division with me. I sure love this, and I'll catch you next time.